Now, parts of Cape Town have been without electricity since around 7 p.m. last night. Officials are saying it's due to damaged lines caused by a fire. The outage has affected the Atlantic Seaboard, CBD and other outer areas like Woodstock. Officials are saying that they're working on it and that at least one or two areas will be restored in the next few hours. eNCA's Lindsay Dentlinger is following that story and joins us now to give us a sense of how operations to restore power to these affected communities is going. Lindsay.
So, Rapi, where you can see behind me, this is where it all started last night, caused a large fire. We're just alongside the N1. Crescendo is showing you right now people up there on the lines doing the repair work. But what I understand from the city officials, it's not just here where we are that they need to fix the problem. It has had a ripple effect, causing all kinds of problems further down the line as you head into the city. But to tell us more about that is the Mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis. He's been camping out here for most of the day and also last night. Jordan, what is the latest that you're receiving from officials in terms of how far we are in repairing the damage?
Good afternoon, nice to be with you. So one of our main supply lines to Woodstock has been restored about 90 minutes ago. And so gratefully power to roughly half the affected area is back up and running. That's Woodstock, Gardens, Vredehuk, some parts of the eastern CBD, the ETV studios, and then around up into Tamboerskloof for Ranjezicht and down into a little bit of the foreshore. That still leaves the large portion of the CBD and the Seaboard out. We are told that as soon as this repair behind us is complete in the next few hours, we can get that back up as well. So we are hoping that by early afternoon or rather late afternoon, early evening, 4 or 5 o'clock, everything will be restored.
By early evening, it would mean those areas have been without power for well on 24 hours. That's quite unusual, even during times of load shedding. I can imagine you must be inundated with unhappy residents.
Absolutely inundated, and quite understandably, people are very frustrated. This is unprecedented for Cape Town, and it was a very serious fault that happened here that caused massive damage through the system, and a huge fire which took most of the night to put out. At the same time, many residents have been very patient, and we really thank them for that. So we understand the frustration, and we are working flat out to get this up and running as quickly as possible. You can see all the engineering teams here around us are all putting in long hours. These guys have been here since the middle of the night, and they are working hard to get this up and running.
At the time when you're trying to get businesses going in the CBD this morning, many dark hotels, as you said, some of them have now been restored. But what kind of impact do you think this power outage has had on those businesses that just last week you were on the ground there trying to get things going and to encourage residents to come and support those businesses?
Of course, it's not at all helpful. Many of them have been on the line to us this morning, expressing huge frustration. Others have been more patient. But of course, it's not helpful. That's why we are showing such urgency in getting this sorted out. To give you an idea, when this went down last night, it sent a massive surge of power through the CBDs that way. If you can see the mountain behind us, it sent a massive blast of power through the whole system and knocked out other cables, knocked out transformer boxes. That has taken a lot to repair so quickly. So I'm very proud of the teams for what they've done so quickly. But of course, that does mean huge inconvenience to many businesses and residents.
Jordan, just lastly, obviously the focus right now is on fixing the damage. But what are you understanding from your teams on the ground in terms of whether this was avoidable or whether it's just one of those things that just happened at an ill-opportune time?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will be properly investigated in the days ahead. At the moment, the focus is just on getting things up and running again. But just next to us here are hundreds of meters of burnt felt, and there was a massive fire last night. So that also doesn't help with the investigation, because it means that there's still smoke, there's still a lot of hot wood and coals around. So it's tough to investigate exactly what happened. So that'll take some days, and we won't rule out anything. We'll check if there's potential vandalism or whether it is just a very unfortunate fault. But at the moment, the focus must be on leaving that investigation for tomorrow and the days ahead and getting the power up and running.
So all indications that all the affected areas should be restored by this evening, say within 24 hours?
Oh yes, definitely, yeah. And as I say, half of them are already up and running. If you can see, these guys are nearly done. If we can get them done, we can start to test the lines again and slowly bring those areas on neighborhood by neighborhood so as not to overload the system, because there are some major cable damage further down the line. So we are using a workaround there, using other cables, and that's why we've got to test it quite slowly and bring them on bit by bit.
Thank you very much. Jordan Hill-Lewis, the Mayor of Cape Town, Rapiwe, explaining to us there what the damage that has been caused. And as you hear there, not just a quick fix, a lot of damage along the line as we put it heading towards the CBD. But we hope that by early evening the power will be restored, and that would mean that the affected communities would have been without power for 24 hours.
Yeah, no, Lindsay, it's very encouraging that the mayor is confident that by early evening communities will have their power restored. Very encouraging, the work that's been done in that particular community to make sure that people have their power back. And that's, of course, Lindsay Dentlinger, who's giving us updates about that fire that put out power in a number of communities in Cape Town. We'll be